We've been dealing with the bracha of Shechianu during the 3 weeks. And we've said that if you have a tradition, let's say, to put on a new garment, in order to avoid the Shechianu, because you're not supposed to make a Shechianu for whatever the reasons that may be it Avelis, be it Zman Peronius, you avoid it and you don't make the Shechianu. Now, sometimes you can't avoid a Shechianu because it just so happens that you go into a predicament that you might have to you have maybe a tradition to make Shechianu. So we're going to deal with that today. What do you do when you have a circumstance that you're put into a position that you have to make a Shechianu? What's the halacha? And each one has the different reasons why maybe you do and maybe you don't. And we'll go into the whys and wherefores. There were those that had the tradition, if you had a little girl, you made it and you heard and the baby was born, if during the 3 weeks you had a little girl, and this is the first time you see your new little girl, is Yivarach Shechianu. Since over here it's not a question about that you have a choice, with a garment you can say, don't put it on until after the 3 weeks. Over here, what are you going to do? The baby's born and you see it the first time, and usually you have a tradition to say Shechianu. So you make the Shechianu. Now, Shmuel explains the Mikadim Mistaber the Mishnah Loi Bas. If you have a girl during the rest of the year, you make Shechianu. V'chein kosar Mishnah Berurah Simra Shchav Gimel Sev Beis El Shinahag L'Varach. And L'maisa, the Shech, even though the Mishnah Berurah says that there are those that make a bracha, the tradition isn't to make a bracha. It's Sarchi and Lama. Why taka? If it's during the rest of the year, don't you make a Shechianu? B'vadi Mishu Oitz L'Varach Yochel L'Varach. B'vadi you can make a bracha. Even though there are those that don't. And it's brought down, Shekvanis Kasha Rash B'Tshuvoisav. Ayin Sham Shnishlim, Mevarchim Shechianu Alevis Haben. What about having a boy before the bris? Can you make a Shechianu? By the bris,
everyone does.
No, not everyone does. We make a Shechianu. In Eretz Yisrael, the minig is to make a Shechianu like Beis Yosef. But you go to a regular bris in be in a regular shul in Chutz La'aretz, they do not make a shechion. Yeah, well, it's because you've always been hanging out over here. But at the end of the day, they make a shechion because there's a whole shah because it's tsar. Okay, but Lamaisa, there was a question in the Chuvas Harajba. If you make a shechion or al legis haben, just like a bas. Custom started the kosher loy ben sarach lavok shechion ben noidim loy banim acherim ben loy noidim loy banim. If this is his first son or not. Why not? But should see that ulai birch shechion hu rishus loy chayvu. Maybe because it's not an obligatory thing, but it's difficult. Why by your ben we don't make a shechion? Now, let's go back to brass tacks. What about during the 3 weeks? So Rabbi Shmuel holds the mission of noig levarach bracha zunkin shnoy kain. Since you have that tradition, haviki yiz manu kedin shechion opinion ben. It's no different than you make a shechion for a pidyon aben. The 30th day, whatever comes out, you make the bracha. Shekosam achavar mosim ktuf ayin aleph sif yudzayin the al pidyon aben b'mei ben amtsarim oim shechionu v'liyachmet hamitzvah. You don't say, okay, let's wait till after Tisha B'av and then we can make a shechionu. You're supposed to do the mitzvah pidyon aben when it comes, and you make a shechionu. That's an obligation. Then you make a bracha. By hearing about a little girl, it's according to minig, according to tradition. Maybe we'll paskin over here like those that don't make the bracha. So he says, you don't make these type of things. Your tradition is to make the kivin shunoi levarach haregi zmanish la bracha. That's the time. It's your tradition. You keep the minig. And he said this rule of thumb, that you go according to your personal tradition, even though others don't have the tradition and therefore you shouldn't change it, is a Maimon Moradcha. This is his text. Avalapidin aben oimer shechionu v'niru poshet l'didon d'nahayim v'ruka shechionu alamila kid issa b'yardeya. We said there's a tradition to make also on a milah. The reason he doesn't say it is because, again, pidyon aben everybody makes a shechion. When it comes to a bris, not everybody does it. If you have that tradition, you do it. So let's say we have a bris here in shul during the 3 weeks. You don't push off the brach of shechionu, and you say it because that's our minig to do a shechionu for a bris as well. Okay, that's one type of a circumstance that it comes, and it's not that you destined it to be that way, but it so happens to be that the baby was born during the 3 weeks. This I spoke a little bit about yesterday. We'll talk about it today. What about Levish's Tefillin Parishoyim B'Bein Hatzar? Let's say you're putting on tefillin for the first time. Now, the minute to putting on tefillin has different minhagim. Let's say Chabad. When does Chabad put on tefillin the first time? I think they do it 3 months ahead of time. Yeah. Well, where's Reb Shapson when we need him? 3 months.
The Zubers don't know? Is he?
It's not Chabad.
Is he
His
not?
brother.
Okay, you would know.
No.
I don't know. Boston, another Chassidisim, a lot of other Chassidisim, do it a month ahead of time. David, who put on your film? Remember? The Rebbe Zatzal?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
See? The Rebbe put on his film.
Well, no, that wasn't the first time. No, when I got the Ninch melody,
Yeah?
I think I did it before with my Uncle Louis.
Uncle Louis from Newton.
No, Randolph.
Randolph? Who was it? Randolph?
Yes.
Okay, good. He was traditional. He was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going with Uncle Louis to Eretz Yisrael once. I wonder if Yisrael was on that flight. We stopped in France, and we had a minion at the airport there. He was very excited about it, that he was able to daven while traveling with a minion. Pan American Airways, you don't have that anymore.
Pan Am?
Yeah. So, what will be the halach? So he brings down over here. Bocha sheniya bar mitzvah mimei ben amtzar. He became bar mitzvah because some people wait until the day of the bar mitzvah to put on the first time. I have enikluch that go according to their father's tradition, and they only put on the day of the bar mitzvah, that's day number one for them putting on tefillin. And that's when he puts on the tefillin. Even though during the rest of the year we try to find a way to shechion, because it's a whole shiloh if you make a shechion the first time on tefillin. So they get a new shirt, a new fruit, whatever it is. B'kai gavna, since it's questionable, if you make a shechiyanu during the 3 weeks, lo yasikein, you don't do it in that type of a fashion. Lo yivarach shechiyanu, you don't make a shechiyanu. Now, we have to understand, we made a statement previously that when it comes to opinion aben, you do make a shechiyanu. So we're saying, by opinion aben, you make a shechiyanu. Or by a bris, according to who's those that make a bris. And over here, by a tefillin, we say, no, you avoid the shechiyanu. What's the difference? So he says that the Nidin Levishis Tefillin Parmishoyna Bein Amtzarim Leidomi Lama Shekozer Machaber Mod Alpidin Aben or Prishin is down below V'Yimsa Achat Tishabov. Be it vis-a-vis a pidyon aben or on a fruit that you happen to get during the 3 weeks, and you won't find it after. You won't be easily found after Tisha B'Av. Oy Mishech Yonav L'Yachmin Sabrach. We say, don't procrastinate on making the bracha. What's the difference? The dafka hosom over there. Let's call the pidyon aben. That's more easy scenario. Shechi chayiv vadu levarach shechiyanu. Over there, it's emphatic that you make a shechiyanu. There's no question about it. Amrin in the kingdom shegiyachi b'shechiyanu yeshlei levarach. You make the bracha. Aval b'tefillin ikahadim b'fush b'shulchan aruch or Chaim Simcha Beis she'ena mevarach shechiyanu al tefillin. You don't make a bracha on shechiyanu. L'chein levarach hakan tvarach. Meaning, it seems that okay, you find a way around it, getting a new shirt, getting a thing, a fruit. That's something else. But over here, avoid it because it's not emphatic halachically that make a shechiyanu. And the question is, the habibri halacha hechriya sheyesh tachlis atzma l'chiyuv berach shechiyanu shloivish tefillin and parmishoyin shebachayim mishum the das hataz V'Torah Torah, v'Agra, Shishlavak Shechianu K'Sha'os Tzvim Chadoshim. That there are those that hold you do make a bracha. V'Gam El Yerabah Hiskel Devreim, V'Gam Yesh Poiskim Shesoivrim, Da'al Kol Mitzvah Shadam Oisapar Mishadim Mechayiv V'Rak Shechianu. Anytime it's the first time you ever do the mitzvah, you make a Shechianu. So Rabbi Shmuel said, "The soif ve'ikal ladina shem yitzvim parmasheni chivu v'ashachiyanu." It's not min halacha. But you can do it. It's not halacha. L'chein liyasa kein bein hamsar. Isi shekein kosova Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Shlomo Zalman also holds that if for whatever reason it is now, ein chochem kabbalah nisoyin. There's no one smarter than someone who had this type of a circumstance. We put on tefillin the first time a month before the bar mitzvah. My first time putting on tefillin was scheduled to be prior to Tisha B'Av. And it came out like this year, I think. Maybe it was an off day. Maybe Tisha B'Av was on Shabbos. But it was like this year. So I was supposed to put on tefillin on Thursday, Friday. My father told me, no, it's not a time to do it the first time, even though I don't think we made a Shechianu. Do it on the day after Tisha B'Av. So we did it 60 years ago, the day after Tisha B'Av. And I can still remember that we came in, we were in Nantasket, and we came into Brookline. My uncle was here, Moshe was in Nantasket, he came in also. And my father asked him to put on my tefillin for the first time. And right after the davening, we went over to Wallingford Road, and we attended a bris. The bris of Elliot Mayo.
Wow.
So my father told me not to put on tefillin and wait. And on that day, we had the bris there by Wallingford Road. I think he lived next door to where Mrs. Dovak lives. He shared a house together with his brother-in-law, Eisenberg. Remember Lenny Eisenberg or Richie Eisenberg?
No,
That's prior to your time, huh?
Izzy would know.
Izzy would know who I'm talking about, yeah. But that's where we had the bris. But we waited until after Tisha B'Av. That's why when I see this halacha, I think of my own personal bar mitzvah. Okay, another interesting halacha you have is mi shehitz v'sefer. Let's say someone printed a sefer, and the printer came by with a big simcha during the 3 weeks. Can you accept the sefer? So the halacha is yochel lekabel sefer mibeis hatfus gam bimei bein hamsar. You can take it from the printer, the printing house, also during the 3 weeks. Now, what about if you make a sefer? Now, a sefer takes a lot of work. It doesn't happen overnight. Right? Not everybody prints a sefer. So, what about making a shechianu? Making a shechianu for a sefer. Can you make a shechianu or not? Is nechlaku ha-poiskim? There's a disagreement amongst the poiskim. L'inyin birch shechianu al vos ha-sefer. Whether a shechianu is made when you print the sefer. Ayin sha'ar shuvas im reish chav gimel sivkat niyud u'mar g'tzir Sham Shinok Shishlavah Shechion al Atfosat HaSefer. You do make a Shechion because you printed a Sefer, it's a Simcha. It's not so simple. Therefore, when you make the Shechion, you say Baruch Atah, and you say Shechion without a Shem Malchus. Ukvar Donu Bezeh Kam Ginel Poiskin Ba'im Bezeh V'Agdom Shal Shuvus Minchas Yitzchak Chelik Aleph Shemati from Reb Shmuel Kam Po'om D'Lamaisei L'Vok Shechion Al Tos Sefer. Printing a sefer, you don't make a shechion. Okay, one more halacha. What happens if you have a talus and the talus gets worn out, and you're putting on a new talus? Mi sheyesh le talus gadol. You have a regular talus. We're talking about a regular talus. We're not talking about a talus cotton. We're talking a talus gadol. Right, so this talus gadol chodesh. It's getting worn out, and you want to buy a new one. Ein l'knoise ben amtsar, because of the problem of shechion. Let's say you have a problem that your talus, you don't have another one. Let's say you're going to never talus gadol shaloi was missing, so you had to go to your friendly bookshop and buy a new talus. That's an emergency situation, and that we allow you to buy a brand new talus. Now, what's the whys and the wherefores about buying a brand new talus? Atam the whole the kind of simim chabesh mavok shechion al talus gadol the loigor mekalim chadosh, because it's no worse than buying new kalim. Just like you know, by new kalim, as we mentioned, because you're going to have to make a shechionu. Things we said already, anything that is needed to buy, you don't buy and you don't wear it the first time, because we want to avoid making shechionu. This is not like putting on tefillin or having a baby born. That you're not going to change the time. You can't tell the doctor, okay, hold off on the birth. Doesn't work that way. Over here, you can hold off on wearing the talus. And kosiv hamachaber v'ramosim tufkufnalit sebeis rish chodesh adatayis matan masumatan, that from Rish Chodesh Av, that's from Shabbos this year, until after the fast, you don't do business with binish shel simcha. You don't build, but it's here shel simcha. It's a mitzvah akol shari. If let's say it's not that it's shabby, but you lost your talus. When you have talisa, you lost your talus. It's no different because it's an emergency situation. Now, you say, why is it such an emergency? Go borrow a talus. Shmuel says, you don't have to go and borrow. You can go ahead and use it even since it was lost, so it's an emergency situation. However, there's those that disagree. The Yavitz, it says, should done b'she'eluzu, about whether you should borrow or buy a new one and make a shechiyanu. Because if shemef b'she'elu b'shas tefillah en liknesoy lasis talus chodesh. You don't buy or create a new talus. Tzitzis en chovis gavra, because we know that tzitzis is not obligatory on the person. It's a chovis beged. Why not? You can wait. The talus can wait to have the bracha go on it. We'll continue in Met Hashem next time, and we'll go into other halachos. I think the next halachos, because it talks about all these hechetimsis, And maybe we'll do one more thing about Kniyas Diru Chadosh, buying a new apartment. We'll go into that a little bit, and then we're going to go into haircuts. So Hanani ben Akashram is going back to Yisrael, the Fikach on Torah Mitzvahs. Shinemar Adon Yechofetz, Laman Sidkoi, Yagul Torah, V'Yadir.